It's like fate. Just sits in the background and goes, nope, can't do that. Well, I'm gonna do it. No, you're not. Well, what if I can't? No, that won't work either. All right, so before we get into today's video, I'd like to share a little something with you here. The makers of the Super Clean product reached out to me recently. They gave me a free bottle of the spray stuff, and they gave me a free can of the foamy stuff. They've been roaming around the internet, and they know who's using the product on YouTube and who's not. But bottom line is, I've been using the Super Clean spray product for years, and it is probably the best degreasing cleaner I've ever used. They also have the foam action in the can for a vertical surface like an engine block. So be on the lookout in this video. Along the way, we're going to find some very practical uses for both of these products. But for right now, let's go over here to the computer, and I want to show you the reason I know that this is such a good product. All right, welcome to the shop computer, a place we rarely go on this channel. And if you go to Google and type in Super Clean Material Safety Data Sheet, there it is. Right, the first hit you get is right there, and I've already downloaded it. Anyway, it gives you all the information about the product, what's in it, and the contact phone numbers, and where they are, and all that kind of stuff. So if we scroll down here, we see 3 items. Sodium metasilicate, or is it metasilicate? I don't know. Anyway, so basically this is an emulsifier. It takes all the ingredients and allows them to mix together. But the party piece for this product right here, which told me, aha, that's why it's so good. Sodium hydroxide. That is a base. In other words, it's not an acid, but it is a base, which is on the other end of the pH scale. And I believe sodium hydroxide has a pH of around 12.7 or 12.8, something like that. It's quite a bit stronger than a standard detergent. Lastly, we have the surfactant blend right here. A surfactant is anything that aids the removal of dirt or debris from a surface. So the party piece is sodium hydroxide with their own proprietary surfactant blend. As you note, it says trade secret right here. And that is a recipe for one heck of a great product. But anyway, material safety data sheet, just download it and read up on it. There it is right there, free on the internet. All right, so I'm in the house garage, and this is a spot where the old diesel Mercedes is parked, well, quite a bit, actually. As you can see, old diesel Mercedes, no matter how tight you get them, they always find a way to leak. If we come in here with just a paper towel and kind of give it that, it wipes it up, but it leaves a greasy residue. But if we come in here with the Super Clean, let that sit for a moment. And I'm just using paper towels. I'm not using a scrub brush. Now you note this this color right here, this a little bit of gray color. This actually is getting into the top layer of the coloration on the concrete. So this concrete's got a gray coating on it. Okay, so it's pretty strong stuff. And that is oil-free. That spot right there is a crack in the concrete. I didn't wipe down inside that. That's why that black mark is still there. All right, one more example and we'll get into today's video. So this is power steering fluid mixed with a little bit of engine oil. Don't tell anybody I haven't fixed my power steering leak yet. Yep, as expected. Comes right up. Just a monumentally clean area. Let's just say you wanted to wipe without doing anything. It just swirls the grease around, and then there's a residue left behind. Over here, there's no residue left behind. Super Clean wins. Let's get on with today's video. All right, it is Friday evening. UPS just dropped off our new accumulator, dryer, whatever you want to call it, from Old Air Products. And she looks made in-house. The welds look great. There is one little, what's that kind of welding I can't do? TIG, that's it. Something left right there, but whatever, you know. Seems to be, looks good. Anyway, the wheels on that, man, look at the wheels on that. Pretty nice. So that's, says Old Air Products, warranty void if removed. So we'll leave that sticker right where it is. And I compared this against the other one over there, the old one, and they look to be exactly alike, which is what I wanted. And you have the single port here, which actually is never used. The port you use to put gas in the system is, there's one on the compressor side of the line anyway. So yeah, let me go ahead and get the proper size O-rings, get a little oil on them, you know, make proper preparations, and we'll move you around over here and we'll start putting this thing in the car. All right, now for the nerve-wracking bit. I don't know why things like this drive me insane, but they just do. You know, some of this stuff is just kind of delicate. You know, these little O-rings are delicate and whatnot. So I thought this was a good idea, but apparently not. It's like one step forward, two steps back. Let's try it this way. Can we do it this way? Gotta hold your mouth just right, you know. Why aren't you going down in there? You're getting in your own way is what you're doing. It's not gonna work. Thought it was a good idea, but it's just a crap idea. It's just not good. Can't do it that way. At least I can't. Why? Because I've never done it. Let me get a cap for that. Keep the dirt out of it. It's like fate. Just sits in the background and goes, nope, can't do that. Well, I'm gonna do it. No, you're not. Well, what if I can't? No, that won't work either. Well, I don't care what you say. I'm going to do it. Well, all right. Well, you're just going to fail. Told you so. Look at that. They put little Allen hex heads in the little thing so you could get it out of there really easy. Focus. Focus. I thought, well, I'll just leave that in there until I get that out. But the fate said, no, no, you're just an idiot. Just don't do it that way. See how easy that just slid right in there? You know why? Because it's the right way to do it. One of you guys come in here and crawl up underneath there with your tiny little arm and hold this thing for me. All right, so the threads on this new unit needed a little attention. They were fine. I think there was a little something going on there, so I took it back over to the bench and just kind of took a pick tool and kind of went down through them and I wiped them out. And then I took one of those other fittings from the other kit and I screwed it in there, you know, and make sure it'd screw in good and just kind of massaged it into, because, you know, come on now, it's Corvette time. It's your time to do the thing. So let's get with the program, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes you gotta massage parts a little bit. So I got it started by hand now, and that worked out really well. It's just on there by hand and it started well. So the next thing I'm gonna do is run this thing down in there some kind of way by magic and get it connected up. So that's on my task list just shortly. So that's blind down in there. I can't see Jack, so or Jill or any of my other characters. So I'm gonna shove this thing down in there some kind of way, and then work by the magic of a 9,000-pound lift. We're gonna get underneath there and attach it from underneath the car. So how about that? Oh, and in all of this, I think what I'm gonna do, because I've never done this before and I really don't know what I'm doing, is I'll hand tighten all of these fittings, and then after I'm done, then I'll wrench tighten them. But I don't think anything's gonna get wrench tightened until I get everything started. So that's the way we're gonna play it. All right, let's get this car in the air. All right, our task that we have decided to undertake is to attach that hose, which is dangling right there, up in there where the little red cap is. So Yeah, you know, not really a way to film that, but I'm going to give it a shot here. So we'll just set you down on the concrete and you can watch me struggle, I reckon. All right. We got plastic caps on everything to keep the dust and dirt out. So this ought to be a challenge. Let's see, I'm able to bend it and get it, you know, situated. So that's a good thing. Now I just got to take the plastic caps off and see if I can't get it started by hand. But before I do that, I think what I'm going to do is get that bracket on the accumulator attached to the evap core box to get it stabilized before we start putting any lateral forces on it. That's scientific talk, don't you know? Yeah, let me put that bracket on there. Let me get that bracket bolted down, then we'll do this. Good plan. Well, I think I got a crick in my neck now. But after 2 tie wraps, zip ties, whatever you want to call them, and what you need to do is develop the art of screwing a bolt in with like this. Works pretty good. Okay, the accumulator is tightened down to the bracket and tightened to the evaporator core via the large fitting on top. So it is, boom, it is solid. It is all there. So now we can fiddle around with it. Where's my light? I gotta have my headlight. What did I do with it? All right, now, I heard they were holding a banquet in my honor, so I popped one open. It is Friday night after all, so. All right, now, what I'm gonna do is finally connect that hose to that accumulator. I'm not gonna film it because there's no point in it. It's just you can't see anything and it's just a big old mess. So I'll be back in an hour. All right, so up next, I think I'm gonna put this this end of the hose onto the condenser. Why? Because, well, I don't know. I'm making it up as I go along. I'm kind of thinking I want to put the compressor on last because it's going to just be in that way, you know? Because it was like, once the compressor is on, it's in the way of everything. That's what I'm going to do. That's the reason I'm doing this now. Anyway, so I got a little oil here. So before I put this on there, I'm going to pour some oil in the hose. I'm supposed to pour oil in this, although it says a certain amount of oil per piece. But does it really matter if you pour the oil in that piece? I don't know. Try pouring oil in that little thing right there from way up here. I'd need some kind of a little bitty capillary tube and screw it. So what I'll do is I'll just put some oil in there before I tighten it down. Anyway, so let's see what we can do here. We have to...
I'm going to the game.
Hey, okay. Good luck.
Thank you.
Big rival tonight, don't you know? All right. The better half is a big football fan. Me, not so much. But our local high school is pretty good, so she really likes going to see them play. All right. Hey, look at that. That wasn't too hard, was it? She just wanted to be on camera. She was grinning when she said it. It kills me. All right, let's put a little oil in there. Wouldn't be nothing without her, I guarantee. How much can we spill on the car? I don't know. Let's just put some in there. That's good enough, I reckon. Let's soak down our couple of drops on the O-ring there. There we go. Ooh, that's nice there. Put a little more in there. All right. So. Uh-oh. The car's in neutral. All right, here we go. All right. Let's see here. How much trouble is this going to be? We're going to need a little more than that. Yep. Let's see now. It's doing a crimping thing. I wonder if the factory hose is crimped. You know, like from the factory. I don't know. This may be a challenge. We need to turn it. Let's try that. Oh my goodness. I knew this was going to be a hassle. Should have put this end on first. All right, we got to do a little twisteroo there, I think. Get that up there. As long as we can get them threads started. Straighten it up. Straighten it up, Harris. Let's see. No, that's crooked. A little over to the left. Oh, sound like vice grip. Struggling. Oh no, only his is fake, mine's real. All right, I'm gonna take a break. All right, break's over. All right, so, man, that's a problem there. I gotta go in some more. And my crimp part is in the way. All right, let me do some thinking. Be right back. All right, so let's loosen the accumulator. Accumulator? What is this thing? Condenser. Let's give ourselves a little wiggle room here. You're trying to be too tough on yourself, Harris. Let's see. Yeah, we got a little leeway now. There we go. Now we got some room. All right, now let's see. Did that give us enough room to get that started? I need another set of hands, really. Let's just take that all the way off. We need all the room is what we need. We need all of it. Could you imagine doing this with the hood on the car? It would just be impossible. All right, got a 7/8 here. And by some miracle, I did in fact. I was a little worried that it wasn't actually started properly, but so if you're trying to start any kind of bolt or any kind of fitting, anything like that, and you get it started by hand, just because you can't continue it by hand don't mean it ain't started. Now, if you put the wrench on it and it doesn't move, you know, like real gentle like, and it doesn't move, it's not started. Back off. Otherwise, you just ruin your day. Your month, really. These air conditioning lines, you want to use a line wrench, right? A flare nut wrench, line wrench, whatever you want to call it. All right, we're started. I kind of want to tighten this thing down again. If I tighten it down, I'm going to put a lot of pressure on that. Tell you what I want. I want some spacers. I want some spacers to bring this out. Because this line bends in like that, kind of like. And I'm all ready. I need some more hose here. I need to get, there we go. So this right here, how much, we got some up inside here. We got play there, right? So, you know, we should be able to get that onto the compressor. I'm gonna get some rubber and put right there. All right, so if I take some cut up rubber hose here and kind of put it in there like that, and then when I get ready to tighten it down, that should be pretty good. That'll give us plenty of room there. And we're not crimped on our hose there, so that's good. All right, I'm gonna leave that alone for right now. I got that started, so that's a huge battle won in my mind. So we'll leave that there. Let's see, I think the next thing I'm gonna do is work on the hard line, the high pressure line. All right, we got, this is the next day. We're picking back up on this thing. There's the hard line I was talking about. And that's pretty nasty. So that end right down there was barely hanging on when we disassembled this thing, and you can tell where it's been leaking. So, and we've got some cleanup work to do in our air conditioning project here. So just a very small example how good of a degreaser the product is, right? So this is just, you know, it's a piece of air conditioning tubing that's been around for about 100 years, and it's loaded up with grease. So it's basically the refrigerant oil leaks out of these things over time and accumulates on the pipework. That attracts dirt. The degreasing action of the Super Clean is such that, well, it's pretty hard to beat, really, you know. So just wipes right off. No issue whatsoever. Just basically like new. The only thing that's left is the rust. So, and you know what? The product is fairly inexpensive as well. It's not like you go and gonna spend, you know, $30 on a bottle of stuff. It's just a few bucks at the local parts house. So look at that. And that'll take me just a few minutes to clean up this pipe. We've got our newly cleaned line from the Super Clean. It looks pretty doggone good. And I got the ends taped up here. That looks really nice. So, and the little bracket that goes here, it was colored Chevy blue from the factory, so I sanded it down and painted it. So it's drying over there. We'll put that on later after that dries. Anyway, for right now, let's go ahead and get the orifice tube in here. I want to go ahead and get a little refrigerant oil on this thing, on this O-ring here. That should let her ease on down in there. I picked up another container of that oil while I was out this morning picking up a few things. Anyway, so you got the short end below the O-ring, and then the longer part above the O-ring. The longer part goes toward the condenser, and the shorter part goes toward the evaporator core. So we're going to slip that down in there. Going to slip that down. There we go. Got a man up on it. Goodness gracious, that's a tight fit. Let me get that tool. All right, we'll put our tool on there so I don't screw anything up. There we go. That is a tight fit, folks. I ain't kidding you. Man, that thing's, it's tighter than you think. But if you're gonna do orifice tube, get the little tool. Man, it's just, it's good. Anyway, doing that with fingers or screwdriver, that's a recipe for disaster. All right, orifice tube in. Awesome. So put our little cover over there. Keep debris out of that. Let's do our tube next. This tube has got to slip down through this hole here where the other line goes, which I'm sure will be just phenomenally easy. This is going to be a fiddly affair right here. I'm going to guarantee you. Need to get my light. All right, let's see. Find a way to twist this thing. We're getting there. The rubber line running through that same channel is, you know, it's just getting in our way. So anyway, uh-oh, the tape fell off. I don't want a dirty air conditioner inside. I want this thing to be clean like the soul of Mother Teresa on the inside. That's what I want. All right, so I took the big line and moved it towards the front of the car, made a bigger loop for my hard line to get through. That seemed to work out pretty well. Yeah, man, we're just on it. Man, we're on it, dude. I'm telling you. All right, I had to fire the engine up, get some vacuum, and pop my headlights up. And then before I turn them off, there's a switch underneath the dash that you pull down and dispenses the vacuum so that you can turn your lights off and leave these up. And then I shut the engine down. The goal was to get myself some room so I can get my hand up in there and put a wrench on that thing and hopefully tighten that up. So that's what I'm doing right now. All right, success. So you can't maneuver the hard line to make it line up with the condenser port. You have to move the condenser to make it line up. You know, you gotta move them both and meet in the middle. So basically, I took the condenser and it's unbolted clearly, and I lifted it up out of its mount like that so I could tilt that port in line with it, and I was able to tighten it by hand. So it's started by hand, and it's going to stay that way until I get ready to tighten everything down. So I need to move this back and snake this underneath there. Let's see. Okay, that was easy. No big deal there. Got our orifice tube in. I think probably we need to get our high pressure doohickey and get that plugged in here. Let me get that over here. I think it's sitting over here on the workbench. All right, there's a little high pressure deal. Cleaned that up super clean and looks pretty good. So keep in mind that we've already got the R134 fitting here on the high pressure side. I put that on there years ago, so that's fine. No reason to change that at all. So I got a new O-ring on there, and we have O-ring here on the hard line. So we're going to add a little more oil to that guy right there, and put a little oil on this one. I'm getting pretty liberal with the oil, especially since I have another 8-ounce bottle. All right, I'm going to take the dust cover off. Do I want to do this now, or do I want to put the coolant overflow tank in next? That's a good question. It's so much easier to take that tank in and out if all this stuff is loosey-goosey and moves around. Let's do that. Let's put the tank in next, and then we'll put this in. Good call, guys. Good job. I'll lift up a little bit. There we go. Get past that new accumulator. Yeah, there we go. There we go. See that? That's way. If I'd have tightened this stuff down and then tried to put that in there, boy, look out. Let me tell you what. All right, now, see, now I'm home free. Now it's easy. Wonder how many times I'm going to have to take this tank back out of this car. All right, now let's do this thing here. All right, basically I just looked at my last video and took a screenshot looking at it on my phone. So this hose has to go down below that. Now this whole affair was actually very tightly, crammed in here. It was tight, so keep that in mind. Well, maybe it might be a better idea to put that on first in there, and instead of trying to. Yeah, that ain't gonna work. There's fate again. Look at that. Yeah, let's go ahead and put this guy. All right, now got an O-ring. Yep, got an O-ring. Come on now. All right, got that started. Now we can do this. See that? Did it wrong again. Every time, Fate's like, no, that won't work. Well, I'm gonna do it anyway. No, it ain't gonna work. You're just gonna start over. I don't have to put it back in the stock configuration, but I'm going to. That looks like the picture. If you've got one of these cars, does it look like yours? Okay, I got all the hoses and pipes started by hand, except for the accumulator. It's in there, it's tight. I don't have to fool with it anymore. I'll need to tighten here, and 2 on the condenser, and then now I have to put the compressor in. So the compressor offers up some challenges because of the headers. I custom fabbed up a spacer a while back, all right, out of some 1/4-inch bar stock, painted it up, and got my length just right. And the bolt that goes through there into the AC bracket plays nice with the headers. Basically, this thing here will rest up against the headers, right? And then the AC bracket is out here. It's a spacer. So the reason why this spacer is necessary is because the stock exhaust manifold was really thick, right? So to make the headers work with the original air conditioning setup, I made the spacer to mimic the thickness of the original exhaust manifold. So we'll need to get this front bolt out of here real quick, and then we'll get our, actually, you know what? What I'm going to do is take that compressor out of that box and put some oil in it, and turn it up on the end, let that oil gel real good, get down in all them seals and everything, We'll let that be sitting up, and then we'll come over here and make prep, and then we'll get this compressor on the car. All right, good plan. All righty, we got our compressor up here on the bench. They just picked up any old bolt they could get. That's got corrosion on the end of it. I guess it doesn't really matter though. There we go. Let's see how much oil we got left out of this bottle. All right, so that's 8 ounces there. 2, 4, 6, 8. So this is 2. So we've used a little over 2 ounces of oil farting around and all this mess. So I want to put 3 ounces in the compressor. And that's the reason why I wanted to do this. So put some in this side. Have you ever done this before? No, I've never done this before in my life. How hard could it be? That's 3 ounces of oil. I just went over to my old compressor and I was able to grab this clutch and press it in a little bit and turn this pump. But maybe that's because the old compressor is worn out. I don't know. Let's see. There we go. It's just, I think you're right, Harris. Let's see, which way does this thing turn? There we go. This one is just, you know, it's new, and it's got some compression. Clearly, the old one has no compression left, because at least that's my theory. Because I'm just able to go boop, 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 and then just the pump turns, you know. There's probably a tool you can just put in those holes and just give it that, you know. That's an interesting concept. All right, let's go ahead and get this one header bolt out. There we go. All right, here's our AC bracket. It's not a complicated affair at all, really. Let's see now. There we go. All right, now, so this guy right here is the one that has the extra long bolt that goes up to the header. And this guy fits between this bracket and the head. And get that tightened down. I was looking for this bolt a while ago. Oh, there it is. This funky bracket here goes on the compressor for stability. And the way it goes is like this. It goes over this stud on the intake manifold and bolts right here. I'm just remembering what all needs to go where, you know. I'm mocking it up. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm mocking. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Yeah, once we get that compressor on there won't be enough room to turn around in that engine bay. But at least we won't have the dadgum smog pump in the way anymore. All right, so here's this guy here. So now, let me get this in here. There we go. Wiggle that back and forth so we can get that started by hand. Nice. All right, let me get a wrench for that. All right, so we're gonna tighten this guy up. I don't imagine that don't need to be, you know, killer tight right now anyway. What's next? I don't know. All right, so we got to figure out what we need on this washer kit here. Here's our new compressor and accumulator bolt. Good riddance. All right, instructions. This is what come with the washer kit. I had to look this up on YouTube to figure out how to make this work. Basically, what you do is you look at your picture right here, right? And you figure out which one you have. Flat face, hose block with short pilots. What does that mean? This little metal tube here sticking out, that's a pilot. And those are definitely short. And I won't need these two washers that this hose block came with. So I'll take those off. And this shape matches the shape that I have. You can see what I'm looking at there. All right, so flat face hose block with no pilots. No, that's not right. And these have a 5/8 pilot. No, that's way too long. A 5/8 and 3/4 pilot. Nope, that's way too long. So this is what we have. So you look down here and go, well, all right, what's your next question you have to answer? What are the size ports on my compressor? Okay, so I measured these ports here. Your suction side is denoted with an S cast into the body of the compressor. Next to this port, that's your suction side, that's 3/4 of an inch. Discharge side, that's 5/8. So this one here says 5/8 suction and 5/8 discharge. We don't use that line, we use this line here. 3/4 inch suction, 5/8 discharge. That's what we have. Now this tells you which washers and inserts you're supposed to use from the kit. You're supposed to use the yellow on the suction side, 272/488, 272/488 yellow washer, and all this stuff is in the kit. The yellow one is, it's not really yellow, it's, you know, cadmium plated, I guess you might say. And it does fit nicely in the port like that, all right? And then the green washer fits on your discharge side, 272/4890, 272/4890 green. That goes right there. And lastly, you have a short insert on the discharge side. 6559423 is the part number. 65594, yep, okay. Double checking everything. Now, so the insert You got 2 of them in the bag, and you know, that's a long one. That's the short one. That's the short one. That's the one we're going to use. So where does that go? You take the short insert like this and you tap it up inside the discharge port. Okay? So this small area goes up inside there. Basically what you're doing is you're extending this pilot by that amount right there on the wide side. So, all right, had to get my spacers and my whatnots and all that kind of stuff in line. So there's a roll pin spacer that goes in that port right there, that bolt hole right there. Forgot about it. Had to go put it in there. Actually, I found it over there. I don't even know if it's the right one or not. I can't remember. It's like that sometimes. All right, we got the top bolt in there finally, after getting my brain situated correctly. So we got to get this bottom bolt. You can't have that on there and do this. You just can't do it. I got to take that green thing off. There ain't no doubt about it. All right, had to fiddle around with that bottom bolt to get it to line up just right. So nothing you guys want to see me do, I don't think. We'll get our spacer in here. I was reading online earlier in 1979, this bracketry for this air conditioning compressor was updated. New revision, I guess you might say, and that doesn't line up. It's just one thing right after another. All right, so I think I need to loosen the bracket that goes to the exhaust manifold. We've got everything bound up here. Loosen that, then we'll come loosen this other one on the front, down below here, up in the cubby hole. Yeah, I think that was what we needed. We needed to loosen everything up to get it all to play nice with one another. And then we can go back and tighten everything down. Now, what's really racking my brain is this stupid thing here. It's some kind of a front brace. I can never remember where it goes. All right, change of plan. Did some research online, and I'm going to dispense with that short insert because apparently really has nothing to do with, again, according to what I read, it doesn't really affect the seal. It's sort of a guide, and maybe, and also I've seen some debate about it also being a heat barrier because this discharge side is pretty hot, as you know. So, however, when I took this thing apart, there weren't one in there. In order to get it in there, I'd need to take this thing off the car, take it over to the press or the bench vise, and I could use a clamp. I got a big old C-clamp, but it's like marring it up, and it's just not, I mean, it's significantly larger than that. Anyway, it's just, it's not gonna go. I'm gonna run without it. So that's my call. If it leaks, I'll fix it later. Screw it. So let's get our green over here on the ooh, I'm gonna put some oil on that. Let's do that. A little bit of oil, get it all lubed up. Yeah, that's nice. I'm in a better mood now. I was really getting frustrated before. Now we're gonna put the yaller one on there. Oh, yaller. Man, I'm gonna have oil all over the daggone place. I really need to put the rest of this oil in this system because I've only used, you know, that much. So, let's see. It would be really nice if the rest of this oil would just go on down in there. So probably what I'm gonna do is I'll take that off and put the rest of it in the evaporator core. So now we're gonna have to hold everything just right and this damn hose here is gonna have to get out of my way. This hose right here. That's got to get out of my way. I can't deal with that. All right. I had to undo that bracket to get that hose out of the way. Now we got to get this, the big end. We need some slack. So you come on out there now. Come out of your cubby hole. It's time to act like an air conditioning system. I'm assuming that's the right bolt. All right, that's snug. It's not tight. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put the rest of this oil down in this evap core. That's some viscous stuff, man. It's like I gotta work my way through that filter. I'm just gonna take my own sweet time. Are you a complete buffoon when it comes to doing air conditioning work? Do you spill pag oil literally everywhere? Well, I'm gonna tell you what, Super Clean's got your back. All you need is the fine stream, and we spritz that down there on the frame rail where we spilled all that PAG 46 refrigerant oil, and it just soaks right up. I believe I've got all the pipe work connected up that needs to be connected up. I haven't gotten it tightened down yet, so that's what I'm about to do. That'll be slow, mundane, painstaking, you know, 2 wrenches, making sure you're not breaking something, all that kind of stuff. And I'll go ahead and get these 2 electrical connectors back on here, and let me tidy that stuff up. I'll be right back. All right, so I took the shredder valve out of the low side on the compressor with a little shredder valve tool, you know, bicycle valve tool. And I've had this for a long time. It's a good quality brass 90-degree shredder valve to R134 doohickey. And that's really the only kind that works on these C3 Corvettes if you have this stock setup. Because if you try to put, you know, the Freon filler thing in, it interferes with the bolt in the bracket, and it just doesn't work. If you buy a 90-degree that's made out of aluminum, well, you're just going to shoot yourself in the foot because they won't work. Let's see, which way am I going to point this thing? I put a new O-ring in it, and it has a swivel action, so I'm assuming that once I tighten it down, that swivel action will settle down, you know, about, I don't want to put straight down, about an angle about like that. That'd be good. All right, so yeah, it's tightening up now. I was looking online, the torque on this bolt, on this line block here, supposedly is like 24 pounds. So I kind of crept up on 18, so this bolt's sitting at 18. And this is aluminum, you know, you get it, right? I just didn't want to go crazy with that, so I think I'm gonna leave it at 18. All right, so I painted up the little bracket. Scratch the car. Be all right. Looks good, doesn't it? So I'll go back here. All right. Man, that looks good. So to get the belt on here, I got to disconnect the power steering, and I'm not doing that tonight. Pretty tired. It's late Saturday evening. I messed around with this all day. So I think I'm going to save the belt for tomorrow. All right, got to figure out best way to route these wires here. Got one green wire in this thing that's been cut. It's like, it doesn't appear to have been ever in use. That's weird. I'm gonna have to look up I got the schematics in the house. I'll look that up and see what that is. This little wiring loom thing is not looking good. I may put some new stuff on that. But for now, I just want to get this plugged in. Let's do it this way. Try to keep these wires tucked underneath the fender. And this right here has plenty of, yep, that can plug straight in there like that. Ooh, which way? There's an arrow on one of these and a knot on an arrow on the other. One of them is ground and one of them's power. We can take the plug out of our overflow line here and we can get that going on. Kind of like that blanket. Man, you can put all kinds of stuff up there. All right, so this final fitting down here in the bottom next to the condenser, it's a challenge. So I went and picked up this 24-inch extension, got a swivel on the end, and got a 3/4 inch crow's foot, and got more than enough, you know, oomph to get down in there. Got some variability here to get this crow's foot around that fitting. Also have the kit didn't have 2 3/8. I had a 1/4 and a 3/8. So here, this is the 1/4, and I got a little adapter on it and whatnot. But anyway, this is the 5/8 that goes on the other part of the fitting. So it's plenty long enough as well. I'm going to snake both of these down in there, and that'll take a couple minutes. And this has got a slight wobble on it as well. You need the wobble because you can't come in at straight. You're going to come in at an angle because more stuff's in the way. And so we got some wobble things on the end here to make our life a little easier. So it'll take me, it'll probably take me 10 or 15 minutes to get that down in there and then turn a little bit at a time. But we'll be able to tighten this properly without any guesswork. So, all right, so I'm going to work on that. I'll be back here shortly. All right. A little fiddly, but I think we got her done. Remember what I said earlier about PAG 46 refrigerant oil and me spilling it all over the place? Yeah. Well, you know what? That's not a problem, really. Now you can wipe oil up with just a rag, but you're just going to leave a greasy residue, and you're going to slip and slide all over the place, right? Now, you see that big old monstrous clean spot I just made on my shop floor? That is the degreasing power of Super Clean, and I stand by it. So there you go. All right, let's make an air conditioner work. All right, I got the belt on the compressor, got it tightened down. That's the original belt I've had on there for years. It's an AC Delco 17550. It's a little long for my taste. As the bracket's all the way extended out. It's been like that for years, but it's tight. I'd like for the belt to be a little shorter. And I had ordered a 530 instead of a 550, which is a little shorter, but it's a bit too short. And it, you know, it maximizes the bracket and you can't get the belt on. I don't know if they make a 17540. That's worth a shot. Maybe I'll look that up later. But anyway, got my electrical on here. Got the ground. The green goes to one side, black goes to the other. I was thinking this is polarized, but I don't think it is. But the wires are pre-bent that way on this connector, so I just, you know, it's going back the way it came off. Let's get the gauges out and pull a vacuum on this system. Let's see how tight we have it. Okay, I think we're about ready to pull a vacuum on this thing. So I went and bought a brand new set of gauges from Harbor Freight, and I have a set of gauges, but they're, you know, they're old and nasty. So that's where we're at here. And I'm using this decrepit Harbor Freight vacuum pump, which seems to still work, but it runs on air. It's noisy, and I suppose it's not any noisier than an electric one, but whatever. They want 140 bucks for the electric one, and I have this one, so we're gonna go with this. So let's go ahead and hook up our stuff here. There we go. All right, so I loosened that, and I was able to move it just a little bit to get the high pressure fitting on there, so that worked out pretty well. Okay, these valves are closed. These are counterclockwise. To open them, you go clockwise. Anyway, and these are the opposite. I don't know why they do that, but it is what it is. Just trying to make sure I got everything set up properly. So let's go ahead and hook up the vacuum line side to this high-tech vacuum pump here. And where's my air? There's my air, it was over here. All right, here we go. Such a nice sound. All right, let's open her up. I'm showing about 28.5 inches of mercury. And guess what we get to do? We get to close the door to the shop and leave this alone for about half an hour because it's loud. All right, let's shut her down. remind me to get a remote cutoff switch for my compressor. All right, so I'm showing, 29 inches of vacuum. This vacuum pump, really, that's all it can muster. Of course, give or take a little bit, but I imagine the electric one will probably be able to run 30. But I got these guys closed off. I'm gonna let it sit here in jail for about half an hour, and then I'm gonna come back and check it, see if it went down. So, and then if everything's good, I'm gonna turn the vacuum on for a little while longer and do a little more evacuation, and then we'll start to charge the system. How about that? All right. All right, we're sitting at 29. That's where we left it, at 29. So it's stuck in there. Looks like, at least we're leak free for now. So it's been an hour, actually. So I was watching that Chris Fix guy, and he was saying, do this and then pull a vacuum for another 45 minutes or something like that. Why not? Let's do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and go, I'm gonna do all that again. And I'm gonna let it gel for 30 minutes or 45, and then we'll be back. And then maybe we'll put some Freon in this old Corvette. We're ready to put some gas in this old car. So we got SuperTech R134. They changed these can taps. And to be honest with you, normally environmentally friendly stuff really doesn't enthuse me all that much. But the way the old cans were, once you punctured the can, it was all or none, baby. It was like, if you only needed half a can, that's just tough crap. You take the thing, and if you had to leave the connector on there, right? If you didn't, So, and which was a stupid idea, really. Now these new cans, they're more expensive. I think really where the extra cost is, it comes in the development of the valve, because there wasn't no valve in the old ones. It used to be, you'd have these other ones. I got one up there, you just punch at the side of the can. How stupid is that? But anyway, so you got this flat piece of metal here, and it basically just presses a valve. It's like a Schrader valve, You just screw it on, and it's really simple to use. And you can, if you just want to put a little bit out of the can in there and then save the rest, that's no big deal. Anyway, let's crank the motor up. Also, this is a good time to make sure that our compressor belt is not going to fly off. You guys keep a watch. Here goes nothing. I got to turn these valves on first. Now we're going to open this guy up. We got refrigerant in our sight glass. The compressor just kicked on. You leave this red one closed. There's no need in opening that. What that does, these knobs have no bearing on this gauge. All right. I like that sight glass. Look at that, got bubbles. Look at that. And I think we're done there. Let's close that rascal. Let's close this valve on this thing. Put another can on. All right, when the compressor's on, I got about 38 pounds on my low side. About 150 on the high. I think that's all she wrote for this can. All right, can number 3 here. All right, I think that can is done. Let's raise the windows. What we got here? 43. out of that vent right there on the passenger side. 41, 40. I guess we got air conditioning. 39. Yeah, I tell you what, once we get going down the road, hell, that says 36. 38, 39. Shit, we got air conditioning. Well, there you go, folks. I think I'm going to leave this video right here. I got 3 cans in the air conditioner, so that's 36 ounces. According to what I read, it really takes about 39 to 40, something like that, of R134 in this particular system in this C3 Corvette. So the first can I got them from Walmart. The first can I had, it just wouldn't work. It was defective. So I put the 3 remaining cans in with no problems whatsoever. So that being said, I'm gonna run up to the parts house, grab another can, and I need to get myself a little scale and really measure it and get the right amount of ounces in there. So that fourth can, I really want to do it that way. But we got air conditioning. Only thing I have left to do on the AC side is just a little tidy up. I still got to put the bolts back in the condenser. I haven't done that yet, but that's just whatever, you know. I'm not going to take up any more of your time, but I wanted to get this air conditioner done this weekend, and that was my goal. So I appreciate it. If you stuck through it this long, man, more power to you. All right, I appreciate you guys stopping by the channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you'd like to be notified whenever I release a new video, don't forget to click that little bell down below. You guys have a good one, and remember to enjoy staying cool in your classic Corvette.